Hey guys, YouTube Bird Hunter here. Alright, now here I am continuing with my Christmas reviews for the year. Alright, and now next up for my next review, this is going to be a review for A Christmas Story 2. So like I said, I'm going to be talking about the new Christmas Story movie, A Christmas Story Christmas, in a couple of days on Christmas Day. But yeah, I figured since before I talk about that, it seemed like kind of appropriate to talk about this one. Yeah. So, yeah. This movie, this came out 10 years ago in 2012. Yeah, and this wasn't like a release theatrically. Obviously, like this was just it's like a direct to DVD movie. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, just what can I say about this? I mean, just this idea is just so freaking stupid. And even when this movie was first announced, everybody just went nuts and just bashed it. Like I remember when the trailer was released on YouTube, there was just so many dislikes for the trailer. Like people just flipped out over this. Like people just absolutely hated that they were making a sequel to A Christmas Story like this, especially since this was released 30 years after the original. So yeah, so just I mean, yeah, like Nostalgia Critic said in his review for this movie, how over the years, A Christmas Story has really just been milked for money and all this stuff. But yeah, this was just the biggest money grubbing element and for A Christmas Story. Like seriously, this was just so freaking stupid to that they were actually making a sequel. Like they was anybody really calling for a sequel for A Christmas Story in the first place? Yeah. Just yeah, this yeah, the fact that this movie even got made was just absolutely stupid. Yeah. And yeah. And the movie itself is also stupid. Like seriously, this movie is just so freaking retarded. And seriously, like this story is just absolutely stupid. And yeah, I mean, it seriously seems like they're just really just trying to reference the original as much as possible in this film because yeah, in this film it still does have the original characters. It still does you still do have Ralphie and his family as well as Flick and Schwartz. So it still does have the original characters, but yeah, the performances are all really bad. Like obviously none of the original cast returned for this movie. And the performances really are really bad. Even Daniel Stern as the old man, yeah, he's just really terrible in this movie. Yeah, and the guy that plays Ralphie, he's he is really trying to really do something with the performance, but yeah, it really just is really bad. Like he barely says anything in the movie. Like most of Ralphie's dialogue really is just older Ralphie narrating once again. Yeah, and like Nostalgia Critic said, just he never shuts up. It's like he's narrating absolutely every moment of in his life. Like seriously, it's just so dumb. Like he constantly talks about the old man, and seriously, it's just so annoying that like Ralphie's narration just is going on and on. It just never shuts the hell up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, this movie really just makes way too many references to the original film in here. Like it seems like we get a reference to the original film every 30 seconds in the film. Like there are Ralphie's flashbacks, which are way too many of those in the movie. You get stuff I mean, seriously, there's stuff the mean Santa, the bit with the tongue, the leg lamp, makes an appearance in this movie, the ho 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 from the original Santa. Yeah, and just yeah, and there's just so many references like that throughout the movie. It's just way too many freaking references to the original film in this one. It's just it's just like going scene from scene saying, "Oh, hey, that was in the first film." Like seriously, it's just like way too many of them. Yeah, yeah, and plus also like in this film, Ralphie really is like kind of like a really perverted freak in this film. Yeah, like in the film, it does show how like Ralphie has like this attraction to like a pretty girl, and yeah, and he's constantly like fantasizing about her and stuff, and yeah, and yeah, and he just is like has such a perverted mind. Like, there's a couple of points in the movie where he like smells her hair, yeah, yeah, and there's like one point where he's just like thinking about her way too much, and he like goes crazy over it. Like, seriously, calm the hell down. So yeah, Ralphie really is just like really kind of like a real creepy pervert in this movie. Yeah, and like the original, like in this film, like Ralphie is like really like setting out for something. Like, while in the first film, like it was of course like the Red Rider gun. In this film, there's like a car that Ralphie wants. Yeah, and he's kind of like working to get it throughout the film, and yeah, and then like he comes across like some setbacks for it throughout the film, but yeah, then like at the end of the film, it does show like Ralphie's dad getting the car for him for Christmas. Yeah, yeah. And plus, also like there's just like a bunch of stuff in this film that just really does not make any sense. Like, just like there's like the point where like Ralphie like at one point when he's like like getting in the car that he wants, like like there's some sort of incident going on, and Ralphie ends up like taking off his pants to get out of the car when his pant cuff got stuck on it. Like, seriously, Ralphie, like, what is the matter with you? Like, that is kind of like another perverted element in this film too. Yeah, and there's also a point where like Ralphie is like messing around with a mannequin. Like, what? So yeah, so Ralphie really is just like really like a freaky pervert in this movie. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, there's just like a lot of stuff that really doesn't make sense. Like, at one point, like when Ralphie has to pay for the damages of that car, like he has to come up with $85, and like there's this one point where he's like almost has the entire amount, but he's like short $1, and then Ralphie and Schwartz then like steal $1 from Flick, and for some reason they end up like taking his pants off. Like, what? Yeah. So yeah, it just really doesn't make sense. Yeah. Hence why they're like stealing that dollar from Flick when there's like other ways that they could be getting like the extra dollar. Like, ask Ralphie's dad or something. Yeah. And there's also like the bit in this film where like at one point like the old man like the old man is like trying to buy a turkey for Christmas, but apparently like it's too expensive for him. So his solution into like replace the turkey is get a fish, and so he goes ice fishing. But really doesn't make sense because, like Nostalgia Critic said in his review for this movie, like, wouldn't like it cost more for him to drive out to the ice to fish rather than buying the turkey? So yeah, so it's just like very contradictory to like what he could be doing. Like, and he really would be like saving more money on the turkey probably in the long run rather than like going out to the lake to fish. Yeah, so it's just like really contradictory. So yeah, so as you can see, like there's just like a whole bunch of stupid stuff about this film, and it just a lot of stuff just really does not make sense. I mean, too many references to the original. Ralphie's a pervert, and yeah, and plus also like I was talking about like how he's like fantasizing over this pretty girl. Yeah, the girl doesn't even really get a line. Like, she really doesn't even say anything until like the end of the film, where she like sees like how like Ralphie really did like pick up some courage for an incident earlier, so she kind of just all of a sudden has like a attraction to him or something. Yeah. So yeah, so just so much stuff about the film, like it is just absolutely stupid. It doesn't make sense, and yeah, Ralphie is really just he's just a freak in this film. So yeah, so like it's definitely easy to see like why so many people have hated this film for the last 10 years. Like, it doesn't even have like an official score on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, it really does have a pretty low audience score. So yeah, so it's definitely easy to see like why people were just absolutely pissed off about this movie getting made when it was announced, and yeah, and and people really were right about it because it turned out being like a very very stupid film and just something to really milk money for from A Christmas Story and the franchise. So just what else can I really say about the film? Like, I mean, there's not really any point in going over the premise because I mean, just pretty much like everything that I've already talked about pretty much covers the film. That really is like all the film really does consist of. So this is definitely like a very very stupid movie. Nothing about it really makes sense. I mean, the narration is just way too excessive, and and everything else I've already talked about. Like the performances are not good. But like Ralphie's just ugh, just a freak. Yeah, and so much stuff about it just really does not make any sense at all. And there's way too many references to the original film, as I said. So I just really don't know what to really rate this film. I mean, but it is like really really bad. So I guess I'll give this like I don't know half a star out of four. Yeah, that's gonna be my rating for the film. But this is definitely. But this film just it is a stupid movie, and the hate it gets is absolutely justified. So I definitely do not recommend you watching this film. Yeah, even like if you are like a big fan of A Christmas Story, or even if you're not really that big of a fan of the Christmas Story, because I do know there are some people that really don't care for the original Christmas Story. But even if you are that kind of person, definitely still stick to that film. Like watch that one definitely over this one. Like don't even watch this one. Whether you like A Christmas Story or you don't, like even if you do love A Christmas Story, definitely just don't watch this film. This film will like do nothing for you, and this literally just has nothing to offer. So definitely this is like one that you can easily skip over and you're not missing anything. All right. So I guess that's the best way I can put it. All right. So I guess that's all I really have to say. All right. So this is my review of A Christmas Story 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say about it. And I have heard how A Christmas Story Christmas is actually better than this one. So I'll give that film a watch in a couple of days on Christmas Day, and then I'll make a review for that film to finish off these Christmas reviews. But stay tuned because next up tomorrow for Christmas Eve, I am going to be talking about the new Santa Claus series on Disney Plus. I just watched the entire series on it. Well, I guess like the first season tonight. So I have watched it all. So tomorrow I will make a video giving my thoughts on that series. So stay tuned for that coming up tomorrow for Christmas Eve, and then and like I said, after that on Christmas Day, then I'll review the new Christmas Story movie, A Christmas Story Christmas. All right, so stay tuned for my Christmas Eve and Christmas Day editions of these reviews to finish off these reviews. All right, but I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.